Today we're looking at a 2-bedroom mid-terrace property that we've converted into 5 bedrooms with 5 en suites. This is the first one we're actually looking at, and we've also converted the middle one and the end one as well. So today we're going to have a look at that in detail. But before we go in and jump into the house, what I want to kind of point out a couple of different things. First, you'll notice that all the actual fronts look exactly the same. The reason for that is we've actually extended to the front of each property by 1 meter, okay? Apart from the middle one, that was original. So what we decided to do is actually keep it all in line and unison itself. So it looks nice and simple, but also modern on the outside look, outside of the property. We've also replaced all the roofs on top as well, on the top of the property, as well as the front extensions as well. Let's jump into the property and have a look at this today. Okay, so welcome to today's Refurb Wednesdays. As we said, we're looking at a 2-bedroom mid-terrace conversion property that we've converted to 5 bedrooms with 5 en suites. Now, the first thing you'll notice, we obviously in our hallway, we always put a commercial grade carpet in the hallways. The reason why we do that is just to pick up all the dirt and protect the rest of the carpets throughout the property. So we know that tenants won't take their shoes off in the property. Some will, some won't, so we just kind of put this as an extra precaution. It's been a smart move of ours for years that we've been doing it for. Now, in all our properties, with regards to 5 bedrooms above, we actually put a grade A LD2 fire panelled system in. So you'll notice over here, I've still got a cover left on, which I'll take it off. But you've got your smoke detectors over here. You'll see them throughout the property within all the bedrooms, and in the kitchen we've got a heat and smoke detector. A heat detector and carbon monoxide monitor as well. To the right of me, we've actually got bedroom 1, okay? Now, explain to how we actually converted this into a 5-bedroom ensuite. You can imagine a 2-bedroom mid-terrace property, normally quite small, generally around about 70 to 90 square meters, and we've increased the capacity of that as well. So we'll explain that a bit further on when we get into communal areas, etc. So bedroom 1, obviously this has all been fireboarded itself, so all this wall behind here, because this is a fire exit, even though you get an hour burn time with normal plasterboard back to back, we decided to put, and as extra precaution, just fireboarded on this, which gives half an hour burn time on one side and 15 minutes on the other, so 45 minutes in total. And then we've got an FD30 fire door on all the bedrooms, and obviously the door casing as well. Consumer units, always try and make it as accessible as possible in the communal space. That's important to kind of think about that as well. Let's jump into the communal space so we can have a look at what that actually looks like, and also discuss a little bit what we've been doing on this property. Okay, so we're in the communal space, and this has turned out really, really well. So behind the actual camera, we've got kind of breakfast bar with some storage area extra for the tenants for the stuff in the kitchen if they want to, and then also the kitchen just beyond that. Now you'll notice obviously we've got 2 seats over here plus a tub chair as well, and we've got a smart TV 42-inch in the actual communal area as well. These are all connected to the internet, so we have 1,000 megabyte internet directly to the property, and that's got a mesh system which goes through the whole property as well, so there's consistent Wi-Fi for all the tenants. Now there will be 5 tenants staying in here, and we're trying to keep all our bedrooms as a large space. We'll speak about later. Now, how do we actually convert this to a 2-bedroom, so from a 2-bedroom property to a 5-bedroom with 5 en suites? The first thing we had to do, everything you see in here was all stripped out. So beforehand, we pretty much got it back to a shell, and all was left was just 4 walls and also the roof as well. So when we actually done that itself, we had to lower all these ceilings. So all these ceilings are 2.4 meters in height. And we've done that. The reason why we lowered that gave us enough space for us to go into the loft, to then do a loft conversion in the front, and then also a dormer conversion as well, which we'll discuss when we get up to those rooms as well. We had to centralize the stairs, so just behind me is the stairs, and we've got a kite winder. A kite winder stairs, what that means is it goes up and back on itself like that, which is the most efficient way possible. We're able to leave this enough space over here that all this actual en-suites itself are centralized above each other, allowing us to get the waste down the center of the property, underneath, and exit the property as well, all complying with building regs. Now, one thing you'll notice over here, we've got an actual boiler cupboard. And in the boiler cupboard, we've obviously got a 250 litre mains actual water cylinder, and it's an unvented hot water system. So this allows consistent pressure to all the actual en-suites, and then on top of that, it also provides consistent hot water as well. Now, with this sort of size tank, we've tested up to 7 bedrooms and we ran the hot water just on its own for 45 minutes, and the hot water actually ran out then with just on hot. So that's enough capacity there to keep the water warm enough and all tenants to be running the showers at the same time. Let's go have a look in the actual kitchen area and see what that looks like. So just before the actual kitchen area, we actually put this breakfast bar here so people can actually sit and eat if they want to, or they can take it up to their rooms, because obviously the rooms are big enough. And we just put additional storage underneath as well. That way the tenants can use these if they want to. It's just spare storage for there, so they can use it. There's enough in the kitchen itself, but we thought we might as well maximize the space from there. There's obviously power points there if they want to kind of work there as well. And then also we've got a window to the left there as well. So behind me, we've got actual kitchen. Again, we've got FD30 door casings and the fire doors. And we've also got your fire door closers as well. So these close on their own, which is important. You need to take that in consideration when you think about fire safety, is don't ever compromise. Okay, so we're in their kitchen. So this is we're at the rear of the property. So anything now beyond the actual original wall before the kitchen is all an extension. So we actually do an extension to the rear of this property to allow for extra space. And what that allowed us to do is obviously extend the square meterage of the building as well. Now, what we do in all of 5 bedrooms is obviously we put a full kitchen pack in. When we get to 6 bedrooms, then we do a double kitchen pack. So we've got one oven, we've got the actual hob, and obviously we've got the extractor as well. We've got a 50-50 fridge freezer, so there's enough shelf space there in for all the tenants. So there's one shelf space for each one. And obviously we've got a microwave. Now we supply everything with all our like utensils and cutlery and stuff like that, and also pots and pans. Because our tenant profile is a professional tenant, they're happy to pay to stay in a quality room itself, and also supplying quality. Now, because the tenant profile is a lot higher specification and just a better quality, we have to invest the money better to get a good quality home, and generally they stay that way as well. Because we've got a lot of, like, the house has been fully rewired, all new heating system, we're going to have very low maintenance for many, many years, and if anything, it's probably just going to be decoration. Obviously, kettle and toaster. Now we put a separate dryer in all the properties, and we've got a separate washer. When we start looking at your 7 beds above, we start putting double. It's not needed by regulation, but we just find it's something just to keep the tenants a little bit more happier and stay longer. We used to do combined washer and dryers. However, we found that from a maintenance point of view, after about 1.5 to 2 years, they just packed in because of all the high usage. So we found having separate, they last a hell of a lot longer, and since we've actually started doing that, we actually haven't had any break, which is great. So lower maintenance costs, thinking longevity is important, that we always focus on our portfolio. So obviously we've got pans, and then we've also got the boiler over here as well. So we do a Intergas Rapid R32 boiler, and the reason why we do that is you can convert it easily from a system boiler, which is set up now, or to a combi boiler, and it's got less components in it, so it's less likely to damage, and it comes with a 7-year warranty on it for parts and labour as well. Now, it's important to note, whenever you've got a warranty in a boiler, just because you've got a warranty doesn't mean it's actually valid. Now, you might be thinking that's a bit confusing. However, If you service that boiler, so when you've got the warranty, it has to be serviced every single year. If you miss a service, then it voids the warranty straight away. So the whole system has to get flushed, it has to make sure that it gets cleaned out, and then obviously has to get logged by an accredited, obviously, gas engineer, so they can actually make sure that that warranty stays valid. So if something happens with this in year 5 and it's got the service, you don't have to pay for anything, which is great. So let's jump up to, it's in the first bedroom on the ground floor, and have a look at the rest of this house. Okay, so bedroom number 1. Bedroom number 1 has worked out really, really nicely. So between all the floors, what we've done is we've put actually insulation, 200mm insulation between the floors. It also acts as a sound deadening as well. And then we've also made sure that we've screwed down all the floorboards on the actual next floor, so there's no kind of bouncing on the actual floor. That way, it's just another thing to think about further in the actual properties. If you don't actually screw down all the floorboards upstairs, then what happens, it moves it all down. So obviously we put brand new flooring in there anyway, so it's like a 18mm tongue and groove flooring that goes in, which is kind of standard for any new build properties nowadays. Now in all our properties, we put obviously 32-inch smart TVs in as well. And you've got to think about when you put in en suites, is you also need to make sure that you put the extraction, okay? So when it comes to your extraction and ventilation for your en suites, one, it's a building regulations requirement, and even if it wasn't, it's a good idea to be able to do it. Now what we do with this, obviously you've got an isolator switch over here, and what that allows is it can be easily turned on and off. But what we actually have to think about is the distance between getting the air out of the actual property. So we've got actual a rigid pipe going from that side above the shower all the way out of the property. And the reason why we have that is anything over 2 meters, you can't use a flexible ducting pipe, and you have to use an actual 2-meter rigid pipe as well. Now this room specifically is going to get £140 per week per room from an income from the actual property, which is important to take in consideration, as this is one of the this is going to be the lowest property room in the actual property as well for that. Now with all our en suites, obviously we put the smallest shower that we ever put in is an 800 by 800 square shower tray. Ultimately, wherever we can, we try and put 1000 by 800. That way it's a little bit bigger shower, but that's, I would say from experience using a shower, that's the smallest that you want to go. Anything less than that, you're just going to feel too cramped. So it's definitely not something I would recommend. Now in some cases where we can't do, we've got the gas meter here unfortunately. So what we've done is to actually fireproof this, and also put a carbon monoxide monitor in here as well, just in case there is a gas leak, it can go off and they know that they're going to be okay. And then also with regards to this as well, there's also a spare key hidden in the actual property, that in the event of a fire and they need to get in here and the tenant's not here, we've got easy accessible key to get into this room and obviously isolate the gas if it's needed anyway. So let's go upstairs and let's look at bedroom number 2. Okay, so we're in bedroom number 2 at the moment. This is the largest bedroom of the lot itself. So in all our properties, we'll put a double bed where we can. Worst case scenario, we'll put a 4-foot bed in, but generally we try and put a double bed in, which is this is the size for it. We also supply all our bedding as well, which is important. So we provide 2 sets of bedding. We also provide 2 bath towels and 2 hand towels as well. That allows the tenant to be able to rotate that round. Now in some cases, in some areas, you don't supply any of this. They supply their own bedding itself. But because of the type of tenant profile and the research we've done, and also the years of experience that we have doing HMOs in this actual area, we've found that actually this is a massive selling point, and they're willing to pay for it, because then they don't have to worry about it. Because the tenants come kind of between Monday and a Friday, they go home on the weekends. It just means that they can have their linen actually turned around for them as well. Now we don't actually clean the linen for them. If they do want that, we do offer as an additional service, and they pay extra for that. But what we do with cleaning, which is important, all communal areas once a week, and all en suites, we get them cleaned and we pay for them to get cleaned once a week. Now the reason for that is because what we found based on experience in the past is that if you leave it for the tenants to clean, some will clean them, some won't. and that can start causing maintenance issues. For the sake of somebody to come in and cleaning that once a week, keeping on top of it, very, very minimal cost, and it just means that we lower maintenance further down the line with potential leaks, mold increasing in the actual in the showers because they're not being cleaned properly, and we have obviously a specific procedure that goes in, and the cleaners go in and clean them every single week. So if you're not doing that in your en-suites already, I'd highly recommend it. We found it very beneficial, and it outweighs the maintenance cost itself for the cost of a good cleaner coming in and keeping on top of those as well. Obviously in all the bedrooms as well, we also put obviously wardrobes in here, so big double wardrobes. We also do the 3 drawers as well, so rather than doing a separate chest of drawers, we build it in anyway, because this is normally dead space, so it might as well do it anyway. Now, what we are probably going to do is probably move that just around the corner from there. Now we've got bedroom number 4 above us. Again, we've got insulation here, and all our lights, LED lights as well. Okay, so we've got LED lighting throughout the building, so it's very efficient, and in all the hallways are all sensored lighting as well, with emergency lighting built into them. So that way you know that you're being very cost effective on your heating bills as well. So currently at the moment I'm in the ensuite for bedroom number 2. This is the back of the property, and it's working quite well. This is the largest ensuite of the lot, and it's also coming out separately with a waste. The waste goes directly out and doesn't join into the other system itself, and it joins into an inspection chamber to the rear. So this itself is obviously, we've got a 1000 by 800 size shower tray, so it's a very large shower tray. We've obviously got a sliding door here as well. Now in some cases what you can do is you can put a 1000 screen on here. We prefer to enclose it because it just means less water to get out, less potential problems to happen, and then that way just, again, maintenance, thinking about longevity of the property. And we supply all properties, as I said, with bath mats, 2 sets of bath mats. Obviously we've got the basin, and then we also got the toothbrush holders and the soap holder as well, still to go up from there as well. So let's look in bedroom number 3. So bedroom number 3 is the second largest bedroom of the lot. As you can see, we've got the ensuite to my right itself. Here we've got obviously the isolator switch as well that I mentioned earlier. What we find with all our actual bedrooms is obviously they're getting a lot of traffic coming in and out. And we found for maintenance as well is that door handles sometimes would actually rip away because they were just fixed to there. Now this is the problem when you start looking at really cheap door handles and stuff like that. So what we found is we found a company called JigTech, where we actually started using this at the beginning of the year, and we found that it's been really, really good. And what actually happens is that we can actually, we've lowered the actual cost of installation. So rather than taking say half an hour to basically furnish a door, these are done in about 10 minutes now, so saving 20 minutes on installation, but then also these bolts together as well, so that way they can't actually pull off. So they used to pull away from the actual doors, and then when that happens, it's a nightmare to actually keep repairing them. So we just found that these are a lot more reliable, and in some cases on the fire doors, sometimes it could happen after like 3 months if they weren't installed properly in the first place. So that's just something we've done there, and what we found is it's actually, with the pack that we do, it's more cost effective than buying the cheaper ones anyway. So it's not always a good thing to be buying the cheapest product. You want to be making sure you're buying good quality and lasts a lot longer anyway from there. Obviously we do grey feature walls behind all the beds. Some cases we do it behind the TV. We generally try and keep it behind the bed if we can do, and we just it gives a little bit of a better feel to the bedroom as well. Okay, so we're in bedroom number 4. This is the 3rd largest room in the actual bedroom in the property. So we in the loft space now. So as we mentioned before, we lowered all the ceiling heights to 2.4 meters. What that allowed us to do is gain more headroom in the front of the house, which is the last room I'm going to actually show you. So what we did is we created a dormer, okay, and what a dormer is basically you effectively extend into the rear of the property, okay, and you just literally flatten out the roof. So above here, You've got 200 mils worth of insulation, PIR, actually because it's on top of the flat roof, so it's a warm roof itself, okay? And what that means is you don't have to put insulation between the joists because it's on the top of the roof itself. And that's got a actual fiberglass roof on there, and it's obviously got a UV protection on top of it as well. Now, in the event of a fire, so you've got the staircase that goes all the way out. So we've got the staircase to the left of us, okay, and that's fireboarded all the way down as well, okay. Obviously, we put radiators in all the properties with TRVs on as well, and we talk a little bit more about the heating system further down the line as well. Obviously, supply mirrors, we also desks as well, and as the wardrobes, as I said before, there as well. Ensuite to the left, so you can see how the actual en-suites are back to back with each other. That way all the noise is kept in the center of the house. Obviously it's sound deadened between the two of it, so you can't hear any toilets been used or any showers been used. So it's very thinking about the tenants and thinking about that they're not going to be woken up if on shift patterns or anything like that. Let's jump into bedroom number 5. Okay, so bedroom number 5 is the smallest bedroom out the lot. This is about 7.5 square meters, and that's just taken up to your 1.5 meter height itself. So floor space, you're getting a lot more floor space if you're taking out obviously that 1.5 meters actual limit where you start counting floor space. But this one itself, as I said, we've come into the loft, we've created more headroom in here as well, so this worked out really nicely. Put a Velux window over here. We've also got blackout blinds. So we put blackout blinds in all through property. Now we actually put Venetian blinds in all the other bedrooms and the kitchen itself. That way it's just a good quality blind, but also what we found is it just makes the room really, really dark. So if they're on a shift pattern, they're sleeping during the day, works out beneficial. This one is obviously a Velux window that we've put in with obviously an integrated blind itself. Now obviously this is a sloping roof, but actually it works out really, really nicely. I've personally stayed in one of these before. This is not the first property we've done like this before, and we kind of stayed in it for a few nights, and they're actually really, really nice, really cozy, and works really functionally. We've left open down the bottom of there, just so it creates more of a feel of space and nice and room there. Unfortunately, the camera doesn't do it any justice, but it feels really, really nice up here. Obviously, we've got the feature wall just behind there, and we've obviously got a actual 4-foot bed in here just to create a little bit of space. Now, one thing that we actually done is we're actually built over the stairs where we've got a wardrobe space there. So we integrated that in, so we didn't have to put a wardrobe in here itself. So we've got hanging space, and we've got enough kind of covered space where they can put stuff on. And then obviously we've got storage underneath the bed as well, which we utilize that for them so they can do that, so they don't feel cramped in here. So it works really well, and we've got an ensuite, same size as the others, not compromised on space as well, which is important. Now, if you want to actually profit from UK property with minimal time, effort, and you actually want to have it backed by property, then simply head to bookingcall.com, or have a look at the link in the description below, and you can book in a call with myself or one of the team to find out how you can profit with UK property with minimal time involvement. Thanks very much for watching. Please hit that subscribe button, and also like this video, give it a thumbs up, share it with somebody else that you want.